Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and welcome to an extremely special episode. Nearly 6 years ago now, I came up with the original idea for Commander Legends, or at least what would go on to become Commander Legends. And now, after many, many years of work and iteration by people in the building, it has finally arrived. Literally. I've got Commander Legends product right here. Now, I have never opened an actual Commander Legends booster, and so it is my pleasure to present to you, for the first time anywhere, Commander Legends product being opened with all the cards on display. And I am so excited to do this for you. Now, there's not going to be any cuts. I'm just going to open it all up and show you what's inside and talk about it the whole time. It'll be like you and me hanging out, just talking about the set. So it's going to be a little less polished than normal, but I think it will be a really fun experience to see it through my eyes. Ready? Let's go. All right, my friends, here it is, a moment I've waited for a very long time. Opening up Commander Legends. Here's what you'll find on the back of it. So once again, this is going to be a little bit rawer than normal. I'm not going to edit this. I got a lot of feedback in my last box or pack opening video to not edit. So we're going to just try it this way. And frankly, I think it'll be a lot of fun to just crack into this and talk through everything that's inside. So here we go. This is such a ginger experience for me because I only have one box. I don't get to re-record this, so I better do it right. Hopefully my video is recording. Okay, here we go. Let's crack it open, and there they are. Okay, so here's the pack, shifted around a little in transit. There's a little insert on the top. Now, this insert talks a lot about basically how you draft. So even if you don't know how to play, or if you're just buying this, maybe you don't have all the information, or if a friend wants to read up on it, you can hand them this insert, or they'll find it inside their box. And it kind of runs through the whole thing. I'm not going to go through every aspect of it. You can watch my other videos for more. But then a big one that I really love that we are doing on the back here are these draft archetypes. So on the top of your box, there's a little insert talking about all 10 different draft archetypes. This I was involved in deciding if we wanted to do or not. And I think it's pretty cool. You can pick this up, and if someone's like, oh man, I haven't drafted this before, what should I draft? Just hand this to them, and they can look through it. And I would love to know any feedback on how this works out for you if you give it a try or to show it to someone. Obviously right now, a little tricky to do, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay, but now, anyway, inserts aside, let's go on to the main attraction. Here are Commander Legends boosters. So, that's so, right, it makes sense, but I just haven't held one. So right, these are 20 card boosters, and holding one in your hand, it just feels different, right? You're used to a normal size booster pack. So that extra 5 cards just, I was like, well, what's wrong with this pack? No, it's just a normal Commander Legends booster pack. So here it is. I guess which one should I open up first? I don't even know. I'll go with this one. It's in the middle. This is going to be my first ever Commander Legends booster pack. Nearly 6 years in the making. Let's see what we get. Let's talk through it a little bit. And there's going to be a bunch of cards that have not been revealed because I'm opening up plenty of commons and uncommons here. So maybe we'll see some fun ones there I can tell stories about too. So, crack it open. Here's what we get. Portent of Betrayal, yeah, for the red-black sacrifice deck. That's going to be in here. Now, there's a lot of cards in here that might not be like traditional quote-unquote commander cards, but these are things that, like Portent of Betrayal, which are totally solid in Commander Limited, stealing their large creature or sacrificing it, creating some cool combos, that kind of thing. Gift of Paradise, nice little mana accelerator. Important that you can do that, especially in the blue-green deck. Great for sacrifice strategies. I'm just going to kind of go through these. You know what these kind of things do. This card, Doom Traveler, actually made it all the way. I think this was in the very original file that I created, and made it all the way through. Just a really great, versatile card, this one. Great in token strategies, great just to buy some time if you're blocking, lots of cool stuff here. Super excited about Pirate Tribal coming back. Sailor Means, yeah, it's great to see here. Renegade Tactics, nice little cantrip. Pilgrim's Eye, talk about it in All-Star. One thing that we tried to do was look for cards that would be easy to reprint at common or uncommon, but they get played in Commander already to really help it feel like Commander. And cards like Pilgrim's Eye, I think, fit into that category really, really well. Amorphous Axe, yeah, this is a great way to help get you extra pirates or elves in those decks. And don't sleep on, random Golem Tribal from things like Ictac too. Seraph of Dawn, this was also in the original file that I handed off. I talked to him at one point about doing Angel Tribal, which ended up being, of course, far too hard to execute on considering there aren't a lot of common angels. But this is great. I mean, not only is it an awesome card to put counters on in the +1/+1 counters deck, but also it's great to suit up in your equipment deck. Yep, big creature destroys artifacts. Shifted down to common, Fleshbag Marauder. So this is something that I know a lot of Pauper players are really excited about. There's another Pauper card in here that I really hope we open. I imagine we will, that we shifted down to common. I'd be shocked if we didn't open one of all these boosters that I am personally really stoked for. We'll talk about that when we get there. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. Command Tower, so there it is, fresh in a booster pack. Yep, Command Tower. Now, the trick in this set was getting the common mana fixing right, because unlike a lot of sets, it has to be worded properly to go into your deck, right? You can't play a red-black Signet in your red-green deck. It just doesn't work. So, had to be things that kind of fixed all your colors or were very, very specific about what they fixed. So the diamonds ended up in here, but then there's Command Tower as a great universal mana fixer. And of course, I mean, it's Command Tower. It's going to be in the set. Big common zombie, too. Check this guy out. Now, I don't think that this one's been common before either. I doubt it's going to show up in Pauper, but neat little card. Okay, Mask of Memory, great card for the equipment deck. Vow of Duty, I did a whole video on the vows. These were in there from the very beginning. Now, interestingly, the vows were in this set before the impetuses were even created. And so they were locked down a while ago. It's, you know, a bummer about the vows is they can still block your creatures and you don't force them to attack. It's possible if I was to go back and do this set again, or, you know, talk to Jules Robbins, who led final design on this set, after we knew about the impetuses, we would have swapped these out for the impetuses. But I think they still play really well, and I'm happy to kind of go back to some classics here, give you foils for them, too. That's something I'm always thinking about. Ordeal of Nylea, good for both counters and ramping. Very nice. Ooh, Aurora Phoenix. That's pretty cool. Cascade's back in this set. I did a video on that, too, but... yeah, this is your Cascade Magic cards. A fine card to open up first. I fought a lot to get Cascade in this set because it wasn't really structural. I just thought it was fun. Okay, so now we're you know, that's our normal rare, but now we're gonna go into the two legendary cards, which of course can be any rarity. So, ooh, Rayob, Master Smith, fine legend you could pick up, and Casket. Cool. Two cool legends. And so if I was drafting out this pack, I'd have a lot of options, plus the foil, which is gonna be Undying Rage, a nice little aura for your red-white deck if you pick that up. And it looks like we got Ad on one side, Treasure on the other. Okay, well, that's the first pack. Well, I got to pick up the pace probably a little bit on these. I have so many stories to tell. I'll try and go through the commons a little bit quicker. Okay, that's my first pack of Aurora Phoenix. Not bad for a first pack. Fitting, given how much, like I said, I thought for Cascade. Let's see what else we can find here. All right, Strategic Planning. That's back. Great for the graveyard deck. Yep. Rummaging Goblin. Wild Size, I love this combat trick all the way back in Guild Pact. You know, a thing that's tricky to do is getting combat tricks to be good in Commander, but when they cantrip, draw a card, that's just a way to make sure that they make your decks. And cantrips are pretty fun to play, and the Commander limited environment is a good spot for them. So this is a blast, and don't ever forget, you can just cast it on your, you know, another player's creature too, to maybe kill off a creature that wasn't going to die in combat, net a card in the process. So there's interestingly, no one color pair deals with artifacts, but there's sort of an artifact theme that shows up a little bit in multiple colors that you can sometimes draft. You can have it come together, and there's some artifacts that care about it too. So keep that in mind with cards like Dund Operative, which allow you to synergize with some of those artifacts, like Dispeller's Capsule, perhaps. Runaway Together, great reprint. So of course, in one-on-one, it just bounces your creature and their creature. In Commander Legends, it'll bounce two other players' creatures. So for 2 mana, this is pretty brutal. Really great in like a Pirates deck or something too, which is often a little tempo-y. Removal spell, of course. Once again, a nice classic, a classic Commander mana fixer. You'll see this in a number of different Commander decks, and here it just shows up as a nice common reprint that makes it feel a little more like a full-on Commander game. Big creature that cantrips and draws a card, nice. Tons of mana rocks. We wanted to make sure that there was a lot of different mana rock redundancy in here because, you know, when you're drafting, the singleton rule doesn't apply, but we didn't just want to put all the same ones in. We wanted you to feel like you were finding different ones and that your games were different, and that singleton rule still mostly was intact. So Seer's Lantern is one of those mini mana rocks, and of course it's got the great Scry 1 ability. Oh, Eyeblight Massacre, another card I know Pauper players are talking about, and being, you know, one thing I'll touch on really quick is when I talk about Pauper Downshift. So Pauper was something I had in mind when I handed off the set. There's one card in particular that when we get to it, which I'm sure we'll find eventually, I'll talk a little more about. But one of the things I wanted to do is think about Pauper a little bit here. And there's a big difference between putting cards into the set that I think would be cool in Pauper and designing the whole set around Pauper. I know there are some cards like Fall from Favor, which have caused a lot of Pauper discussion. But that was not designed for Pauper, right? That was just something we need to do for the limited environment, and ultimately the limited environment of Commander Legends is going to win out over Pauper. But occasionally, you know, finding places for downshifts is cool, and I think this is a really neat downshift, and of course, just awesome in the limited environment too for the elf deck. Another Artifact Matters card right there. Monarch returns. So there's Palace Sentinels. Nice reprint. Another Artifact Matters card. Ooh, man, if I open this in Seal, I'm going to be looking for my artifacts. 3 visits. Oh my gosh, so excited to finally get that in a set. We've looked at it forever. Oops. Well, the audio up until this point is probably going to be a little bit worse because I didn't have my microphone turned on. I was just so excited about opening up these packs. Anyway, okay, so 3 visits. Yeah, this is a card I'm super excited to... You're getting Gavin doing this live, right? I'm super excited about opening this box up. 3 Visits is a card where we've wanted to reprint it for a long time and was just looking for the right spot. Commander Legends, of course, a slam dunk place to do it. And this great new art inspired by Eldraine 2 with 3 actual fairies, I think is really, really awesome. Slaughter the Strong. Yep. Here's an uncommon sweeper for you. One thing that I handed off in the original file were a lot more uncommon sweepers and stuff like that. Not a lot of them made them through, but a little bit is important to make it feel like Commander. And so this is an uncommon sweeper, or at least one that brings down people's creatures considerably. So this is the kind of thing that you really would only find in Commander Legends, and I think is pretty cool. It makes it feel quite a bit different. A rare, Sweet Gum Recluse, another Cascade rare. Very nice. Good start to my Cascade strategy. I know this card freaks some people out, so I'm going to move right past it. Oh, hey, there's my preview card, Dargo the Shipwrecker. We're onto our legendary slots, so nice big giant pirate with a great backstory. And then Numa, Jiraga Chieftain, for our Elves deck, or a +1/+1 counters deck, I suppose. And oh boy, well, we are off to a strong start. That, my friends, is a foil mana drain. Well, man, I was thinking about how I might cut out that part where I turn on my microphone. Now I definitely can't, because people will think that I put this in here. Nope, this is just the real deal. Foil mana drain. I'm just gonna set that right there. I was gonna set that right there. And here's the Monarch, which crucially, I guess I'm gonna talk about how this has the your back in it. We fixed the typo. I'm on the high of this mana drain right now. Holy smokes! What a great way to start this off. All right, yeah, mana drain we put in the set. Just looking at awesome reprints that could go here, and Mana Drain is a card that, of course, we knew players needed, right? I'm going to pick it up and be ginger about it, otherwise I know people will yell at me in the comments. Mana Drain is a card that a lot of decks, of course, need in many places. It's a cube staple, but also in Commander it makes a lot of sense because your opponents will cast big spells, and it's a counter spell you can play to counter their huge spell, and then do something big yourself, like one of those 9 mana cost spells. So yeah, I'm putting that right there. If you're interested in trading for it, let me know in the comments. We'll see what we can figure out. No, not really. I'm probably gonna put that in my deck. I opened it live on camera in my first ever Commander Legends box. That's a great moment. Wow. Okay, already hits are rolling. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Crimson Fleet Commodore. This is a red Become the Monarch card, a new one here. I know we did one in Conspiracy before, but this time around it's a pirate, so it also goes into the pirate deck, which is really cool. Also talks about a Scrub Isle in the flavor text, which I think in the slideshow for this set made me laugh quite a bit. I don't know if that was on a previous card or not, but Soul Smite's a card that was like, this is really bad in the original Moon environment in Shards of Alara, but here it actually gets quite a bit of play because the deck that wants to have the green-red deck wants you to have big creatures, and the game goes on longer. You just get bigger and bigger creatures, so this card can kill you out of nowhere if you're not careful. Elvish Doomsayer, the inverse of Elvish Visionary. That's a nice one. Okay, Benevolent Blessing. This card is kind of a funny story. It's sort of a lot like Chomano's Blessing, which is a card you might recognize. Benevolent Blessing was Chomano's Blessing for a very, very, very long time, and then we did an art review on the set, and it was decided that we needed a new piece of art. Just Chomano's Blessing was too old, and we were going to commission something new for Chomano's Blessing. So I told Jules about this, who was the set designer, the final set designer, and I was like, hey, we got to recommission this artwork. Well, we could do a new card instead. So he looked into it for a while, and ultimately decided that something very, very similar to Chomano's Blessing would be the way to go. But you'll note this little line at the end. This effect doesn't remove auras and equipments that are already attached to it. So it's a little bit better because you can play it in your auras deck and load up a bunch of auras onto it, even if you give a creature protection from white. A little complicated for common, but this is pretty cool. And I don't know, maybe this will show up in like Pauper Boggles or something like that. Slippery Bogle, right? Yeah, it's Bogle. Okay, gotta pronounce that right. Okay, Scrap Diver Serpent. Game's gotta end, and so this is a fine way to help make sure games can come to a close in Commander Legends Limited. Skyraker Giant, yep, little reachy guy there. Ghastly Demise, this is a nice 1-mana removal spell. Pinpoint removal is important to have around, and at common, this is one that late in the game will usually get turned on. The non-black bit is something we don't do very often anymore, but in a multiplayer commander game, you'll always have a target for this. So, Opal Palace at common, one of the wordier commons, common lands we might make. But yeah, it made sense to put it common here. A lot of the old commander like common staples are in this set. And Opal Palace is here as well to fix up your mana. We saw Command Tower before. Here's this. There it is. Fall from Favor, the much discussed Pauper card. Yeah, you know, we'll probably said more about Pauper in this video than any other format so far, but besides Commander. But I know this card's been much discussed, and we've got our eye on looking at the format again. There it is, Kinsbale Courier, first one in the flesh for the big fans of Kithkin out there. There's one person out there who always tweets at me about Kithkin. Opening this up is for you. Hello, Kithkin guy. Spark-Ton Dragon, yep. Once again, something that is good late in the game. And also just 5 mana 3/3 flyer, especially in a format with Monarch, can be totally fine sometimes, although not perfect. Good in your plus counter deck, really nice. New Cascade card. This card I expect to see actually just show up sometimes even in commander decks, because you're just like 8 mana Cascade can do a lot of wild things, especially with Maelstrom Wanderer around. So yeah, pretty nice. Fate's Fetters, love this removal spell. This is a card that you show up and sees some commander play anyway, and also helps shut off tricky things like you know, planeswalkers or artifacts, things of that nature. Kingi's Lieutenant. Yep, this is for the flying deck. You've got Encore to showing up, and you know, I've kind of skipped past Encore before, but Encore was a mechanic that was made in set design by Jules to really fill this gap of like having huge plays even late in the game, and Encore does a great job of making that happen. You know, this card comes back, and if you get 4 copies of it and they all attack, well, they're all going to get +4/+4. So that's pretty good. Or I guess, you know, probably three copies in a 4-player game. But even then, you're still attacking with 3 4/4s out of the graveyard, which is pretty cool. Amazing Elf Reprint staple, Dana Fisher. This one's for you. Goes right into your black-green Elves deck. Ooh, nice. Okay, so here's one of the Quartz. The Quartz are a cycle we made really early in design, actually. I have a picture on my phone, I think, of the first versions that we made. We tried a lot of different things out for this one. Originally, I think the first version was just ridiculous. We all knew it wasn't going to work. It was like tutor for a card, or it was like vampiric tutor or diabolic tutor, whatever. It was clearly a ridiculous thing to do every turn. But the idea stayed on these, and they made it all the way through final design, which I think is really cool. Okay, going on into the legends. Aha, Nimrus, Una's Trickster. A nice little callback to Lorwyn. I love this set. Goes across all planes and all times. And Helena, one of the first cards we previewed out of the set. It's cool to see one here in the flesh. And Hal and Elena were 2 legends that very early on, me and Kelly Diggs knew we wanted in this set, and it was really cool to get them in after players have asked for them for so long. They're such slam dunks. And then our foil, Deranged Assistant, another nice Innistrad card, Innistrad themed card anyway. And then here Rock from here's the Rock token, as you'll find in Tago, Goblin Weaponsmith. Tago is a fun one too. We were looking for some really obscure characters. I don't know why I put Deranged Assistant next to Mana Drain. It just felt right. We were looking for some really obscure characters, and Tago came to mind for a fun card. All right, well, we're 17 minutes in. We're 3 packs deep. I should probably go a little bit faster, but I'm just gonna keep telling stories because I can't resist. I'll give you all something fun to comb through, right? I'm sure that there's people right now who are just like, why did Gavin make this video so long? I just want to go see the new cards. Well, I'm sorry. I want to talk about this. This is my first time opening up Commander Legends packs. Okay, I will keep trying to go a little faster, or at least keep saying that I will and then failing to do so. Fertilid. Yep, this is, talk about just an all-star card. Showed up in this set, showed up in Ikoria. Once again, you can kind of tell that this set was finalized a while ago, or at least figured out a while ago, because this doesn't have the Ikoria artwork. This has the old style artwork on it. So this set's been a long time in the making. Doom Traveler again, yeah. I'm just going to skip past cards that we've talked about. Here's another card for that kind of artifact deck you can draft sometimes. Goes into any versions of it. Aqueous Form. Yep. Skyraker Giant. Nice spider. Keeps the ground safe from any flyers. Of course, flying really powerful in limited, so giving green some answers was important. Filigree Familiar at common. Probably not going to do anything in Pauper, but it's a neat little downshift. This is also just a card that I love. It's so efficient in a commander deck. It's great to blink in and out. Also, I mean, it's adorable, so can't say no to that. Corpse Churn, yep. Marble Diamond, right? So the whole cycle of diamonds are back here. Super nice. You can get them in foil with this new great artwork. And once again, this is these mana rocks that we had to make sure could go into not every deck. There's this big problem where everyone just wanted to take mana rocks all the time, right? Mana rocks are great in Commander. So how do you solve that problem? Not just have everyone's first few picks be mana rocks. Well, you color lock them. So these are locked to one color in particular, not 2 color archetypes, because gold cards are hard to make work in Commander Draft. Yeah, if you're white, you'll pick this up, but if you're not white, you'll just keep passing it along. Gale Strike, a nice tapped bouncing thing there. Listed on a Bowmaster, another way for green to deal with flyers. Taking a sip of water there. Whew. Hope I don't spill on all these cards. Another way to deal with flyers in your elf strategy. Here's a card I don't think has been previewed yet. Just a big pirate with Cascade. I think we had something like this very early on after Cascade was put into the set. It's just big, it hastes, it comes down, it attacks, and brings something else cool with it. Of course, if you hit another haste card, you can live some dreams. And these are kind of the big splashy effects that you're looking for when you're designing Cascade cards for Commander Legends. Hunter's Insight with some brand new art. This one had actually been hanging around for a while. This probably appears on our website somewhere, I think, maybe a great designer search or something, but really cool new art piece for Hunter's Insight here. Vow of Lightning, the one vow that got new artwork of the cycle, plus new flavor text for Jared Garthalion, who is in the set himself, an old comic character. Thought Vessel, nice uncommon mana rock. This one is quite beloved. First time in foil in this set, which is really cool. Soulfire Eruption, nice. We've got the one of our 9 mana cost mythics here. There's a cycle. Their effects are all not really tied together. They're pretty loose cycle, but they're all 9 mana and do some really big splashy stuff. And this will give you a bunch of cards that you can cast next turn, plus probably kill a bunch of stuff off in the process. So this is a super fun card to resolve. It takes a little while, but man, it's just super fun to resolve this card. All right, onto our Legends. Kodama of the East Tree. So happy to get some Kamigawa cards in here. This card is pretty strong too, I think. So you'll be seeing this one around. And again, Arcana Weaver made by David McDarby, I believe. So with the 3-color Legends, we're really looking to do some off-the-wall stuff. The partners often play into the theme somehow, at least the uncommons ones. The 2-color Legends often play into the set themes. But the 3-color ones, we want to do some really, really different stuff. And Gen is a great example of, hey, have you ever built a Mardu enchantment deck? No? Well, let's have you build a Mardu enchantment deck. And then Sailor Means for a nice little pirate deck. Note, check out this cool copy token, by the way. Great if you're copying stuff. Okay, on to our next pack. Man, I'm glad there are only 24 packs in this box because I'm taking my time. This video is going to be long. It's easily going to be my longest Good Morning Magic by a margin. But if you're watching the whole thing and enjoying it, that's great. I cut my nails just before opening this box because, I'm sure that you all would want. I've gotten a lot of feedback in the past about making sure that is something that I do. So, not that I cut my nails plenty, but yeah, it's for pack opening. It's really important. You got to close up on your hands, right? All right, Soul's Might. Seen that one before. Defiant Scavenger cares about sacrificing artifacts or creatures. Goes in the artifact deck. Red-black sacrifice deck. Super cool too. Howling Golem. Fun fact about this card is this card was designed by Richard Garfield on Dominaria Design. He made it, of course, as an ode back to Howling Mine. And yeah, we kept it around the whole time. I got to work with Richard on that set, and it was really a cool experience. Another little Artifact Matters card in case you go down white with your Artifact Matters theme. Trusty Pack Beast is back. Run Away Together again. Spontaneous Mutation. I know this card was tried out to be a lot of different things, but it fits that blue-black, the kind of blue-black graveyard deck where you're killing off your opponent's stuff pretty well. And you just want to lock down their thing after you've self-milled a bit. So blue-black just kind of does general graveyard shenanigans, like all kinds of graveyard stuff in the set. Anointer of Valor. This is a common that can put a ton of +1/+1 counters on your creatures. A common play pattern is to cast this, untap, and then attack with a couple things, and maybe even spend all your mana to give them a couple counters if you don't have other action you want to play. These kind of mana sinks are really important and limited, just to make sure that if the game stalls out, you have a way to break through. And Anointer of Valor does a great job of doing just that. Workshop Assistant, another card you can draft in your Artifact Matters deck if you end up going down that path. Crow of Dark Tidings, great for blue-black. Welding Sparks. Totally solid removal spell, right? 3 mana, 3 damage. Gets kicked up a bit by artifacts. And keep in mind, Treasure, by the way, I kick these up. Another diamond. Man, I love that diamond art. Lindsay, look. Great work. Bitter Revelation. Yep. Hero's Blade. Now, this is a card. This was, I think, in our original file, too. This is a big one. Because you're always going to be able to play a commander and have it snap onto this, or I guess, unless you're playing with the 2 Planeswalker commanders, Jessica or Tevisat. And this is the kind of card that you can take, and it'll go into your commander deck almost always, but it helps point you in the direction of going red-white. And when we're designing a draft format, we really like these kind of cards that push you in a direction of, like,
hey, you can always play this, but it's really good if you want to play red-white because of all the auras and equipment. So I'm glad this one made it all the way through. Noxious Dragon, yep. We want to just be a cycle of big dragons in the set. Okay, now here's a card worth talking about. Explosion of Riches. Yes, 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 indeed. So this was actually a whole mechanic at one point, and this card is just a blast, literally and figuratively. All the other cards with this mechanic got killed, except for this one because everyone loved it too much. So the mechanic was called Bribe. It was from, the idea was basically you would do a thing, and then everyone else could draw a card, and if they drew a card, you would do the thing again. And right, it's fine, like, don't draw the card, like maybe I'll make an angel, and then you can all draw a card, and for everyone who draws a card, I make another angel. No problem. These angels aren't going after you, right? And it inspired some politics, and created some pretty fun moments. The mechanic didn't make it. There wasn't a lot of design space for it. It was based on something that Sean May tried in Conspiracy 2 and didn't work out. So that's 2 times that it's failed. But this card was just too fun. So you draw a card, then everyone else draws a card, and then it deals 5 damage to a random opponent for everyone who drew a card. So you can draw a card and you might not even get punished for it, right? And,
There's nothing more satisfying with this card than everyone drawing a card but one person, and then the one person just getting dinged by it a bunch. So it's definitely a little chaotic, but it adds some really great moments into gameplay. I like this card a lot. Jessica's Will, right? So this cycle was added in final design by Jules, but I think it's really cool. They all harken back to named commanders in the set, and there's kind of choose one, choose both if you have your commander thing. And of course, having a commander in play is easier than ever because of partner. So this made a lot of sense to do here. They were looking for a cycle that made sense, that worked with partner well, and this tends to work well with partner. Also, casting this thing on turn 3 to get 6 red mana is nothing to sneeze at either. There's Iktekik, a little look at what's going on in New Phyrexia. And Tormod the Desecrator. So happy to get Tormod back here. Fun fact, I love this part about Tormod, is I had a long list of legends that Kelly Diggs created handed to me, and most of them had like very long stories on them about like what the character was doing or their information about them. And Tormod's was 3 words. It was had a crypt. That's everything we knew about Tormod. So yeah. Ooh, wow, that's nice. Kodama of the East Tree. Very, 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 very cool. Love that foil on there. It's another foil rare. And once again, you get a foil in every pack, so you're going to get these things at a pretty good clip. And there's Prismatic Piper, which replaces a common 1 in every 6 packs. So running a little above expectation here, but there you go. Whew, that will go in the mana drain pile. I mean, it's no foil mana drain, but it's still a very exciting foil. Okay, on to the next pack. I'm just going to take a moment here to make sure that this is still recording. So this is the kind of thing that when you're making a video, you have to think about, and you all never see. But when I just want to make this thing and not cut it all, it happens. Okay, yep, still recording. Perfect. All right, let's move on to this pack and see what we get. Okay, Crushing Vines. I remember my, it's important that you have cards that are versatile in a set like this, so you can play them either way. I remember this is a card that Tom Lupelli, when he designed it for the second Innistrad set, I think, was just like, yeah, this is what we call an unconceptable card. It's really hard to figure out creatively what this card is going to do. So Crushing Vines, right? That's what this thing does. And now it's a role player in Commander Legends. Goblin Trailblazer. For the person who always tweets at me asking for Goblin Trailblazer to come back, here you go. It's in Commander Legends. We did it. Mothfeld Twins, nice reprint. Core Cartographer, White Ramp. This has been a card that has shown up in a number of white decks ever since it came out, all the way back in original Zendikar. And yeah, it's just once again a card that shows up sometimes in decks and is cool to have in this set. It makes it feel like a commander set. For your Pirates deck, Falcon Invoker, yep, equipment thing. Ancestral Blade is back here. Jalum Tome, yes. So a slow way to draw cards, but it will give you card advantage over the long game. Fills up your graveyard in a blue-black deck, which is nice. Eyeblight Assassin, an elf that things with people. Here's another common mana rock. This is the one that I think was in the file once again from the very beginning, and I have always loved a Special Searchlight since I saw it in Ravnica originally. You can't mana burn people with it anymore, unless you have Yearlock maybe. But just the politics and commander of like, hey, I'll give you an extra mana. What do you want to do with it? Will you help me out somehow? I think is pretty cool. So great common mana rock here. Here it is, Fiery Cannonade. So this is for a very, very, very long time in Pauper. I've wanted a 3-mana sweeper, or a 3-mana 2-damage sweeper. I thought it would do really cool things. Or actually, even a 2-mana one would be fine. Pyroclasm was in the file for a little while.
But when I handed off the set, it had Steam Blast in it. 3 mana instant, deal 2 damage to all creatures. Something that I thought the format could really use. It's got black sweepers, but the only good red sweeper is really like Electrickery. This is what made it through. So not exactly Steam Blast. The pirate theme made a lot of sense to put this down at common. But I'm really curious to see if this inspires whole new Pauper strategies, or at least is something that shows up as a great sideboard card against decks like Elves. So really excited to have this in the set, and I think it'll make waves, do some cool stuff. Maybe it'll be a Pirates deck, probably not, but I think more than anything, just the 3 mana 2 damage sweeper is gonna make a big impact. So there's the card I was teasing on Twitter a little bit. Now you can all tell me that it's not good, but I think it's gonna be good, at least in the eventual state of the format. Scrounging Mandar. Nice little reprint, great for your +1/+1 counters deck. Another diamond that Lindsay Look knocked out of the park. Sandstone Oracle. This is a totally sweet card. 7 mana, 4/4 flyer that gives you a huge card boost. Once again, in this draft format, like this is good enough for some Commander main decks and full-on Commander. In this draft format, this is a rock star. And you'll note, by the way, we've gone through like a bunch of packs and we have not seen that many repeats. The set is big. Like you're going to see a lot of different stuff, even though these are 20-card packs. So lots to talk about here. Okay, this was a card. Yeah, I remember this was a card that we made very early on in design and made it all the way through. Super love this card. It gives it gives other people's creatures haste for attacking your opponents. So it's really fun when they put down creatures and are just like, oh hey, yeah, you go attack Gavin. Don't attack me. You're thinking attack right away. This is a card that I'd love to see play an actual Commander. I don't know if it will. It's 5 mana, is pretty prohibitive, but definitely in this format, it's a blast to play with. Siren Stormtamer, great reprint. Oh, hey, it's one of my preview cards, Course of Recruiter. There it is. A nice pirate that steals your opponent's stuff. Or Legends. Oh, Hounds Erickson, yeah. This card was made by Noah Milrod, and Noah crushed it. Absolutely crushed it with this card design. It got tweaked a little bit. Originally, the biggest change was you always exiled Hans Erickson. The creature always got rid of Hans. And then the final design team was like, oh, what if it fought Hounds instead so your creature could live sometimes, which I think is a great texture on the card and helps tell the story even better. So happy this card exists. Absolutely love it. Oh, and then there's Kedis. Nice little we had a cycle of these familiars at Uncommon, and this is the red one. Super cute. The familiars all help out your commander. They're partners that all help out your other commander, like a little familiar you'd keep around. And then Wild Size. Hey, I talked about you a little bit earlier. There's a zombie token. All right. I don't even know what pack we're on. I keep talking. I've lost count. This video is a half hour long. I warned you all. It's gonna be a very long video. If you're watching this on social media, well, you probably won't be because the video will be too long to put out on Twitter. Fortunately, I already made a little intro for that version. I'll probably put the Mana Drain clip there. That's too good. All right, Port of Betrayal. That's back. Lifecrafter's Gift, great common for your +1/+1 counter strategy. Supernatural Stamina. This is a great way in limited to survive like a removal spell or even a board sweeper in some cases. This is a card I've actually seen started to make full-on commander decks too, so it's cool to get that here. All right, Trusty Pack Beast. Yep, again. Flood of Recollection. This is Downshift, I believe, here. It's 2 mana, get back instant or sorcery. Great for the blue-black graveyard deck. Also, just the kind of thing that you can do, like, in a long commander game. You can, your graveyard will be stocked with some really cool stuff. So, Dragon Egg, yes, for all you egg lovers, here's Dragon Egg. A nice cheap thing that can block and make a token that can attack. Really nice. Pirate's Cutlass, of course, pirate archetype here makes a lot of sense. Entourage of Trust, we reprinted some Monarch cards, and this was one that we were like, sometimes we made new ones, like the red pirate Monarch card that we saw, but in cases where they worked out, just figured to reprint the old one, and this is one that worked out great. Phyrexian Rager, Rupture Spire, another common mana fixer, really important. Spark-Tongue Dragon, Fall from Favor, First Response. I remember when this card was tearing up our Future League a long time ago. Anyway, yeah, this one makes a lot of sense and works on every opponent's turn, which is pretty cool. So, or I guess your turn too if you damage yourself. But you can put this in play, and one player attacks you, you take some damage, you make a token, and another player attacks you. And something that I like doing with this card in limited in particular is being like, oh hey, you know what? I'll make you a deal. You just want to attack me? Yeah, I'll just take 2 damage. And you can kind of do politics with people where they're like, well, yeah, I'll deal you damage, no problem, and then you get tokens out of it, which is kind of cool. Pen and Blade, speaking of token strategy, this is an uncommon that can make a creature gigantic. Armorcraft Judge, great card for the +1/+1 counter strategy. Nice, huge Encore. Yeah, there's definitely some big Encore stuff going on in this set. Ricochet Debaser is one of the rare ones. The commons and uncommons are mostly for limited. The rare ones are mostly for full-on constructed commander, and this is a big one, right? You Encore this, you not only hit all of your opponents for potentially 6 damage, but you also will take a thing out of their graveyard for each of your opponents. So this one leaves a pretty lasting mark. It's also totally fine to just cast on its own for 6 mana, so this one I think we'll see some play. The Kobold. Yes, it made it all the way through. We designed this one very, very early, and we all fell in love with it. I remember there's this cool moment at Gen Con last year where we had this You Make the Legend panel, and the whole audience wanted to make a Kobold. That's what they decided on. Out of anything in Magic, they wanted to make a Kobold. And so Ethan Fleischer and I just looked at each other and locked eyes at the panel, and that's the moment I knew this card was going to be a hit. I think it has been. Slurk. Yes, the Ooze commander. Very cool. And then foil Phyrexian Ranger. Spirit token in the back. Okay. On to the next pack. All right. This is what happens if you don't have me cut out these bits. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you would prefer to see stuff like that guy. Like, if you prefer the cut-up version of these. I know last time people were like, oh, man, you didn't authentically open these cards. It's like, okay, well, I'll just show you opening the whole box this time. So, but if you prefer the cuts, let me know. Or maybe I should just get better opening up packs. That's an option, too. Ivy Lane Denizen. Yep, that's a nice one. Great for your counters deck. Little Encore creature for elves. Haunted Cloak. It's not quite Swiftfoot Boots, but it still gives your creatures haste right off the bat, which is pretty nice. Good with Death Touch because of the trample. Core Cartographer again. Preordain. Great reprint. This has been the file for a very long time. I knew it needed a reprint for all kinds of formats. Eternal formats, Legacy, Pauper, Cube, all that kind of stuff. So glad to have that here. And of course, I play this card in my commander deck. My favorite commander deck, Mariki Ribera, my longest standing commander deck, has Preordain in it. Commander Sphere. Shout out to the Commander Sphere podcast. Good work, everybody. Nice mana rock. And once again, just keeps that variety of mana rocks going, right? When you draft the deck, you're not going to feel like you have a bunch of the same mana rock in play a lot of the time. You feel like you'll have different ones. Wild Heart Invoker, nice big creature with a big activation. Sisay's Ring. Yeah. Of course, there's always the debate, Sisay's Ring or your Golem's Eye. Made a lot more sense here because Sisay is such a commander-focused card. Because Sisay being a legendary creature. Great mana accelerant. 4 mana, drop this down. And then next turn you'll have +2 mana, which in Commander Legends Limited can be quite impactful. 9th Bridge Patrol, another +1 counter matters card. Huge menace creature. Just having enough big creatures in this limited format is really important. So you need big stuff you can ramp into, of course, but you also just want like stuff that when the game goes on long, you can play some really huge creatures in Smash. So this is an example of that. Note that dinosaur treatment. This is a dinosaur now, so that's kind of cool. Murder, great classic, and with Queen March has a flavor text, by the way. Wonderful nod to Monarch being here. Path of Ancestry. Yes, nice common Path of Ancestry. I know this is a much-wanted card. And another Commander Legend land that does a lot of work here at Common. Strength of the Pack. Yep, really makes your creatures large for the counters deck. Really great there. Or any deck that wants to go wide, too. Sometimes you can draft green-white tokens. Normally tokens is white-black, but this is a great one you can draft in if you're green-white. Make something an angel, gives it evasion. Great for your red-white deck, if that's where you are. Victimize. Fantastic reprint. Absolutely phenomenal reprint here. Gets played a lot in Commander decks. I love the extended art version you can get in the collector boosters, too. And there's, yes, Opposition Agent. Yes, this card has caused much discussion. I made a very long tweet thread, and for some thoughts on how this relates to white, I recommend checking out my Twitter account for like a 20-tweet thread talking about it. I'm not going to recap the whole thing here. This card is quite powerful. I expect to see it play in a lot of places. I was not involved in the design of this card, so I don't have any stories to tell about it. It was added in set design after I'd handed the set off, but still a very, very cool one. Quite a lot of discussion around this card. Arumia of the Dreadtide. Nice. Gives all your stuff Encore. The one legendary merfolk in the set for you Professor, if you're watching this. Ghost of Ramirez DiPietro. This one's so funny to me. Right, when I saw this, I was just like, what? But it made me smile so wide. It's not just an old legendary creature. Like, no. Taking an old legend, that's too easy. What is it? It's the Ghost of Ramirez DiPietro, which is, I think, just hilarious. Just one of those things that I saw in the set was like, yeah, I know this set's going to be awesome. It makes me smile. Really cool. And then our foil, Armory of Erois. And then there's our Prismatic Piper hanging out here at the back. If I was counting commons, I could probably tell you it was there in advance, but Okay. On to the next pack. Whew, maybe we're about halfway through the box now. We still got a long way to go. I'm checking my recording. We're at 38 minutes. Yeah, this episode is gonna be a long one. Just too much to talk about. Dragon Mantle, great in your red-green Power Matters deck. Just also a great way to punch through with flyers, help games end. Ambush Viper, the green Snapcaster Mage, as I always like to say. This one's for you, Gabby Sparts. Yeah, just a nice little green, efficient green creature. It's a cool combat trick. I think it's nice to have like a green combat trick that can threaten death out of nowhere. So this is a cool reprint. Assassin, Raise the Alarm, great tokens card. Preordain again. Just gonna go a little fast here. You probably don't want to hear me tell stories about like Court Street Denizen, although this was in the file all the way since the beginning, so I'm glad I made it all the way through. A colorless Monarch generating card, yeah. I mean, 5 mana is a lot to pay, but the Monarch is incredibly powerful. So I expect this card to at least be tried in something like Pauper, and it's great here just as a common to get. They can go in any deck to get the Monarch rolling. You know, a lot of players love Monarch so much that they will even just start the game with Monarch. So super happy that we could put this here as an additional Monarch card. Speaking of new Monarch cards, here's a brand new blue Monarch card. Can't be blocked by creatures with Monarch controls, which is pretty interesting. So it's particularly good at taking back the monarchy. This is kind of a different riff on what we've seen before. Cool. All right. Amorphous Axe. Yep, back to Tribal. Prophetic Prism. Here's a card that is fantastic here for fixing your mana. Has some cool extra artifact interactions. Gets played as a Pauper card, so notable reprint for those players. And I love this card. To me, this is just a total all-star. It does a lot of heavy lifting, especially when we added the 3-color legends into the set. Making sure that your mana was good enough was really important. And so this is a big one for that. Wild Celebrants, 5 light colors, yep. Demonic Lore. This card is super fun with Blim. If you're playing the red-black Blim that can give other players your permanents, I recommend this one. Fathom Fleet Swordjack. Yeah. This is another card that just has a tiny bit of Artifacts Matter going on. And, of course, it works well with Treasure, which is kind of Pirate's thing. Fencing Ace, good in the red-white deck. Slash the Rings. This is a really neat sweeper. Kills everything but Commander. So, especially with partners, it's great if you have both your partners in play and you can kill off everything else. Kolfener, the Last You. Very nice in this Legend slot. Once again, a neat throwback to Lorwyn, which I think is really, really cool. And with these 3-color legends, we want to do some really unique stuff, and this is a great example of the kind of unique stuff we got to do here. Kelith, Sunmane Familiar. Nice, another one of the familiars. Hey, one of my favorite cards in the set, as I mentioned. Explosion of Riches in nice foil. Okay, let's keep on trucking. I took the pack off frame. Hopefully, if I open up something good in this pack, I promise I didn't do anything weird. Trying to keep it all on camera for y'all. Okay, here we go. Howling Golem, Power Through, Ambush Viper, Power Through, Blade Brand. This is the kind of combat trick that I love because you can not only cast it on your own creatures, but once again, really muck up other players' combat steps. So, player A and player B are attacking, and you as player C just cast this to make sure that you kill off one of their creatures and draw a card in the process. Really great flexible card here. Cage of Hands, yeah, this is a card that's an all-star from Kamigawa. Gotta love that artwork. This brings back a lot of nostalgia for me because it was one of the best commons in white. You had like this in Kabuto Moth running around. So this card inspires some nostalgia and is really, really great here. Make sure that you can keep a removal spell that you can cast early, but also one that you can level up to kill off something else that gets bigger later on. Pirate Reprint. Yeah, Renegade Tactics. This guy again. Lunatic Gargoyle. Really nice to have just a nice big generic flyer, right? Any color can play this. This is the kind of card that, in Battle Bond, we found a lot of use out of just having enough generic artifacts that if your deck, which might be restricted on colors, needed some curve fillers later, you would have them around. And to me, this is a great example of that. It's like, you're not like going to be stoked about playing a 6-mana 4/4 flyer. You'd rather have one of the dragons instead. Which I think maybe I said earlier, they're a cycle. I don't actually think they're a full cycle in the set. But anyway, if you just need a 6-mana 4/4 flyer, you want something to fill that curve, some extra evasion, it's great. It's great for that. Also nice to reanimate this one maybe in your blue-black deck. Oh, I love this. Yeah, we had a big green Cascade creature in the set since the very beginning, and this is what it turned out to be. This card's a blast to cast. It's strong, right? 6/5 reach trample for 7 that gives you another card cards with a value when you cast it. And then also, look at that, just eating up that Harpy. What an annoyed Altasaur. Great art piece on this guy. Yeah, super happy this kind of thing made it all the way through. Nice removal spell, Prophetic Prism, Champion of the Flame. This goes right into that red-white Aura's Equipment deck. Fleshback Marauder, Reclamation Sage. Yeah, once again, you want to make sure you have answers to artifacts and enchantments in this set. But the trick is that, a lot of times you don't feel like you have room to just play like a Naturalize or something. So this is a creature that does it. It's also an elf, which is really relevant for the limited format. And there's a lot of cards in here that are like, yeah, you'll get some extra value of killing off artifacts or enchantments because they can be pretty oppressive sometimes, especially like the Quartz if you don't have an answer to them. So we want to make sure that they got into decks. Nadier's Nightblade, good in your token strategy or in your elf strategy. Cards that straddle archetypes are often really important in limited formats, and this one straddles it quite well. Supreme Will. One thing about this set that is interesting is counter spells are a lot worse than normal because of Cascade. Cascading into a counter spell is just super bad to do. And so we looked for other options that would allow you to counter spells but give you a different effect. And Supreme Will is a great example where you can counter spell with it, but if you cascade into it, oh hey, you can still look at your top 4 and take one. Hey, Keeper of the Cord. I will maintain, I think this card is going to be played quite a bit, at least in, average power white decks, 5, 6, 7 power level white decks. The ability to ramp a bunch, play this card and then end up +2 lands by the time it comes back to your turn is really nice. You've written that ramp the rest of the game. You make some tokens. I think this will show up as a staple in a lot of white commander decks. I'm really excited for you to all give it a try. Hey, I mentioned Yurlok earlier. There he is. This is a card that I wish I was incredible enough to have made. This I did not make this card. This was made on the set design team. But I love that it brings back Mana Burn. That is such a cool build around commander. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do here. Maybe makes me want to make some other cards like this. Perhaps one day we'll make the damage on the stack returns commander. It'd be a lot of fun. Captain Vargas Wrath, a nice little pirate. Pirate Lord. This one's really nice. You play it out on turn 2. It comes down early, and then it pumps up your pirates. Then after it dies and comes back, it makes them even bigger. One big challenge with aggro decks in commanders, how do you keep them relevant throughout the game? Well, this is the way that even late in the game, Vargas Wrath can come back and give all your pirates +3/+3 on attack, or +4/+4 even on attack sometimes. So that's pretty cool. And of course, great with partner. Whew! Oh, check this out. So we have opened up our first foil etched card. Here it is. I'm going to try and get this treatment so you can check it out. That is so cool. Check out how it goes across that whole frame. Just love how that looks. And of course, Hans Eriksson. I'm probably going to have to build a commander deck around this. That is so gorgeous. Oh, man. I love that so much. So this is right. A new treatment that comes out in Commander Legends. It's this new kind of foiling that looks like, as you're seeing here, it's kind of hard to describe, but I'm glad you can see it. And every single legendary creature in the set has this foil treatment. And you can open it up in draft boosters every now and then, like, as I did right here. And then every collector booster has some of these. So super cool. That's going over my mana drain pile. That's really exciting. Okay, on to the next pack. Oh my gosh, we're almost at an hour. This video is going to be so long. All right. Impulsive Pilferer. Oh, I love this little adorable little pirate guy. Make some treasure for you. And then the Encores make some more treasure. Good stuff. Love this dude. This art makes me smile so much too. Love this card. Finclade Fugitives from somewhere on Ravnica. A nice, must be just a generic big creature that you can Encore back to deal a bunch of damage later in the game. Elf Salamander Rogue. For all you Salamander lovers, keep in mind this works with Gore Muldrak, so it's a wild one. Blade Brand, let's get past that. Squad Captain, we are so far and we're still seeing a bunch of commons we've never seen before. This is exactly why we built the set, to have a bunch of extra commons in it. Squad Captain, it's bigger for every creature you can. It's bigger for every creature you control. Important in the counters deck and the go wide black-white strategy. An artifact, just a way to kill anything. This is super important to kill off, even troublesome planeswalkers or enchantments. The kind of thing that can just make it into your deck as, your last card, but can do a lot. Sailor of Means. Finhorn Elves. Oh, so happy to have this here. So happy. I've wanted to reprint Finhorn Elves for a long time. I was actually the one that got it into From the Vault 20. And so to finally give players a non-foil version here, so this one's for you, Shivam, and everyone else who loves Finhorn Elves as much as I do. Get it ready for your legacy decks now. Scholar of Stars, Skywailer's Shot, just kills off a creature in white. Scries 1. Nice card to have around. Fiery Cannonade again. Yep, just gonna skip past these. Sunset Pyramid, a nice way to get some card advantage in colorless. Meteor Golem, once again, kills off anything. Really nice to have this card around in decks just to make sure that troublesome card types are answered. I love this card, Wrong Turn. Yeah, this one always puts a smile on my face. It's pretty fun to be like, oh, hey, you're not going to attack me with this thing? Great. You have it now. I'll let you work with this. And also the art on this is just fantastic. It makes me smile. Smile every time. Abomination of Llanowar. Yeah, the literal elf ball, as I know some people have been calling this. Great card for black-green decks. The black-green strategy here goes a little bit wide with elves, but also, being black-green, elves end up in your graveyards. This is a really nice thing to bridge the gap, especially between some of those black cards for the blue-black graveyard deck. And Malcolm. And then, Foil Farhaven Elf. This will go into a deck I already have. It'll go right into my Prosh deck. Really cool. All right, next pack. Time to keep on trucking here. Whew. These packs are causing my fingers some grief. Okay, here we are. It's like the Jimmy Wong Booster Fingers video, if you all saw that one. All right, I'm gonna just skip past cards we've seen already. Viscera Seer, yeah, nice kind of all-around commander card. This is played in other formats too, but plenty of black sacrifice-based decks play this. Of course, if you're nasty, this is for your infinite combos. Inspiring Roar puts counters on all your stuff. Aven Surveyor, a nice way to both play into any counters matter stuff, but also just get troublesome creatures off the board. Just keep going past all the stuff you might have already seen. So many commons in this set. Love this Encore implementation on this card, by the way. Super good to just deal a bunch of damage late in the game, and really great in your blue-white Flying Matters deck because it gives a bunch of things flying that may not have had it otherwise. Cast Down, what a perfect reprint for this set, right? Destroy a non-legendary creature. Can kill off most things, but there's more than normal legendary creatures running around, so it can cause some trouble. Now I was able to cast it. Arcane Signet reprint, first time in foil in this set, which is pretty cool. This card is a card we just want to keep reprinting over and over. I know it was hard to get in the Brawl decks, but now that it's been out, you'll keep seeing this card in all kinds of commander decks, and these will be very easy to acquire. Volcanic Torrent, here we go, a nice wonky Cascade card. This is a card I think I designed too. It made it all the way through. Deals damage to each of your opponent's creatures and planeswalkers for all of the spells you cast this turn. So if you can kind of storm it out a little bit, but you'll at least do two, one for the initial and one for the Cascade. And this is kind of the I mentioned a long time ago with Slaughter the Strong how it's important to have ways to sweep the board, even uncommon. And this is an example of a card that does that. Baseline 2 damage, but pretty easy to make this deal 3 or even 4 damage. The other half of the Battle Bond Dual Land cycle is here. Makes me so happy. In fact, before Battle Bond was even out, these 5 dual lands were in this file. So that should give you an idea of how long they've been here. Imagine if everyone has asked you for years now, when are you going to make the other half of the cycle? And you knew that before they even saw the original Battle Bond ones, these were already in this set. That's long we've been working on this thing. So really glad these are finally out. Legendary. Abika. This is maybe my favorite legendary creature, or at least one of my favorite legendary creatures in the whole set. I love this card. It inspires some really cool deck building. Actually, I found the playtest card. Is it still on my desk somewhere? I know it's around here. It's around here somewhere. Oh well, I'm not gonna take the time. I'll do a future video with my Commander Legends playtest cards. But this card evolved quite a bit. But I'm really happy we got the end of the turn Matters Commander made. Prava of the Steel. Oh well, bound to happen eventually. Well, the show must go on. I'll pick up all those cards later. Prava of the Steel Legion. This is another card I made that made it pretty much all the way through. It changed. The only thing that changed was the +1/+4 was indestructible originally, or maybe prevent all damage while it was attacking. But this is to make sure that not everything is protected forever, but still kind of accomplishes a similar effect, while also actually pumping up your tokens and giving them an extra point of power to make them matter even a little bit more. And then, Foil Rex Sage. Really nice. That's a nice commander card to have here. And great in this limited format, too. Okay, that's a nice open. All right, here we go. Fertilid, saw you already. I'm going to just skip past the commons you've seen before. Sorry if any cards are not in frame. Molder Beast. Hey, there's a reprint from Scars and Mirrored. Once again, good with stuff like treasure, right? You're sacrificing all your treasures. Oops, a little peeking ahead. Can't be doing that. Oh, the diamonds, so gorgeous. Here's there's this great comment from like Ken Nagel, I think, in our multiverse notes about like how do you solve the counterspell problem in a set with Cascade? You give the Cascade card counter target spell, and that helps make sure that it'll show up less off of your Cascade, because a lot of Cascade cards, there's some Cascade cards that cost like 5 mana or whatever. But also, if you Cascade into this, sometimes you might actually cast it, right? Maybe you'll counter the spell you cast originally for a shot at something else. And of course, there's the dream of casting a Cascade spell in response to something your opponent has cast, hitting this, and then countering their spell. So a lot of fun to be had here. I'll admit that you don't counter your spell very often with this, just a Cascade, but it is something that you can consider doing. Golem Artisan, this is a great card if you're trying to go for that, once again, kind of Artifact Matters theme that spans across many colors. Nice reprint. Burnished Heart. This is a commander card that shows up a lot in commander decks. It's a great colorless ramp card, and really happy to have it in this set to give the set that really commander vibe. Gitleaf Winnower. This is a downshift, I believe. Rare to uncommon. 5 mana, 4/3 that will kill a creature when it comes into play, although you're never really sure which one. I love this power toughness aren't equal thing. Really fits the flavor well of trying to kill the eye blights on Lorwyn. So really cool uncommon downshift here. Now here it is. Here's the white mythic. I know some people online have been asking about what the 9 mana white mythic is. No, it does not just gain 200 life or something. It brings back all your artifacts, enchantments, and planeswalkers. This card, if set up correctly, can win the game in one fell swoop. So replenish, plus getting back all your planeswalkers in one. Be very interested to see if this card makes the cut. Great art, by the way. You kind of see Chandra and Karn, for example, there in silhouette. Artifacts, enchantments, and planeswalkers all coming back. Kind of like very open the vaultsy. So see what we can do with this. But it's only your graveyard, so it's not symmetrical like a lot of those other cards too, which is a nice boon. Miara, Thorn of the Glade. Nice, a nice Elves Matter commander. Rebecca, so happy. I mean, I went on Tolarian Community College last January and talked about how I wanted there to be Rebecca. And spoilers, it was already in the set at the time. So I knew it was coming out eventually. It just was going to take a while. Really happy to finally have Rebecca here. And a foil and Anointer of Valor. There's your golem token for your exec. Okay, next booster pack. So many memories looking at these cards. I mean, this set took so long to assemble that just seeing it all in one place, right? Seeing the physical cards actually here existing, not just words on my computer screen on my game design database, but actual factual cards is so rad. All right, Haunted Cloak. Skipping past the cards you've seen before. I think you've probably seen a good chunk of the commons by now. Omen Speaker, maybe not, but you kind of get what's going on with Omen Speaker. Green Vow, talked about that in a video. We got a whole video about that you can go watch. Guildless Commons, I told the story in the video too, but I loved it so much I'll just tell it again. I pitched this originally for Oath of the Gatewatch because it was a set that wanted you to have colorless mana. Would you want the colorless Ravnica bounce land? Well, here, because you want colorless. Didn't make the cut, unfortunately, but I kept it in the back of my head waiting for the right set to make it, right? A set where you would actually want to do this. And this is a great example because your commander may not always be able to play whatever bounce line that you find, but this is one that will always be able to make your deck. And in a monocolor deck, it's great. If you're playing Kozilek, something in your 2-color commander deck, or sorry, not 2-color, in your colorless commander deck. I've been talking for an hour, everybody, so words, are things. This is a great card for those decks. So I'm really happy I finally got to make it. And one of the perks of leading the set is you get to help make sure the cards you like make it all the way through. And I hope you like this one because not everyone did, and I'm happy we got to make it. Pride of the Perfect, great for that elf deck. Here's the 9 mana blue sorcery. Copies a spell 3 times. Also works within the graveyard, which is kind of cool. Gore Muldrak, there it is. The Salamander Matters card goes with this goofy Amphin. This is a card I think Ethan Fleischer pitched really early on, and just put a goofy smile on my face. We should do a Gore Muldrak, right? There's 2 pieces of flavor text in all of Magic. What is up with this guy? Is there actually a Salamander Uprising? Well, play him and find out. The Salamanders might get you. Another part of the partner of the Familiar Cycle, and foil Valakut Invoker. Once again, that foil at the end of every pack, keeping things exciting. You never know what you're going to open up. Sometimes it's a mana drain. All right, here we go. Skipping past the commons. You've seen a lot of these already. Love putting this card, Angelic Gift. Oops. Love putting this card, by the way, Angelic Gift, on my other opponent's creatures. That's always really nice. Just don't attack me. I'll give it flying. Then you can draw a card. Shrove Tracker. This is one you might not have seen before. It's an encore card that draws a card when it goes away. So, of course, you play that out originally. It's a pirate, maybe dies in combat. You draw a card, cantrips, no problem. But then later in the game, you can encore it and draw 3 cards from your graveyard. So it's a really cool, almost flashbacky, really card draw flashbacky feeling new card. So good design here. I like this card design a lot. I think this is really great design by Jules and the team. All right, skip past this. Skip. Seen all these already. Dinosaur, hello. Important that you have ways to keep your stuff around in case a board sweeper does happen, right? That's really cool Commander gameplay. And Make a Stand does just that. It's not quite Teferi's Protection, but it still gets the job done in Commander Legends Limited. This is a downshift, I believe, from rare to uncommon. Probably should, frankly, be uncommon originally to begin with. And this is a great part to have around in that deck. Helps make sure you always have attackers. Pride of the Perfect. Horizon Stone. This is a really cool card. I think this art came back for another set, actually. And we were just like, oh, what is this art going to do? Maybe it was going to be a different card in this set. I can't remember. Anyway, we had this art. We had to design a card to the art, basically. And this is what Jules came up with for the card that we designed, or for the art that we had, rather. The card that he designed for it, which is pretty cool. And it's a great reference to Crewfix, even here in the flavor text, which is neat. Amaranth Illustrious. This was originally a green-white card. But when we added the 3-color legends, we looked for legends we could upgrade to being all 3 colors, and we added blue to it. So now you can play blue cards in your decks. It was called Daniela the Categorizer, I think, initially. I have a playtest card I'll show off in a video at some point. There's the other half of Hal and Elena, and a foil Crimson Fleet Commodore. All right, next pack. So many packs. Yep, this is now just one big stack of cards with a foil Mana Drain hiding at the bottom of it. All right. Here we go. Souls Might, Elvish Doomsayer. Once again, I'm going to skip past the cards that you've seen. We've hit most of the commons. I'm just going to let the cards slide off my table. Here it is, actually. So there's this bunny, poor little bunny card that I teased. Here's the new art for it, Revenant. Poor little bunny. It's probably going to be fine, right? The most attractive thing to hear is the art, of course. That new art is awesome, and I'm so glad we got to use Chris Gold's amazing piece on this card. Also, draw reference to this flavor text from Hans, of Hans Eriksson fame, who we saw earlier in this box. Not again, right? Because of course he encountered the Lurgwife originally. This was the original flavor text on it when it appeared in Stronghold. And of course that begs the big question: how did Hans Eriksson, who was in Ice Age, get all the way to Stronghold? And well, I guess that's maybe a story for another time. I'll let Ethan Fleischer talk about that. Dreamstone Hedron, big mana ramp card. You know what you need in Commander? Let's ramp from 6 mana to 10 mana, and this card gets you there, and also just lets you draw 3 cards if you need to. Which, it's Commander, of course you need to. Great for card for your counter stack. Reprint Elf Rare. Yeah, here we go. This card is brutal in an Elf strategy. It's pretty easy to make this thing start giving away 3 or more +1/+1 counters pretty quickly. Also worth noting that you can put it on any creature, so it's got that great politics thing going on too of really mucking with other players' combats. This is a card that Timberwatch Elf would probably be uncommon, but because this adds permanently and because it's a drain on every single combat step, it was left at rare. It's really powerful for limited, so if you have this, you're gonna want to take it. And of course, you take 2 cards at a time, so you can grab this in a great Elf Commander maybe. There's a Vargas Wrath, and hey, speaking of Elf Commander, there's Numa. And Foil Spark Harvest, good for your sacrifice deck. Unlimited. Okay. Next pack, here we go. Clocking in over an hour. This video, here's what I'm thinking as a content creator right now. I've never uploaded a video that is this long. Wow, is this going to take forever to get on my computer and upload? These are the things that you think about when you're me. But I really want to do this whole box and just see what other stuff we open. I mean, it's been so cool just opening this up and kind of just getting to talk really what comes into my head. Normally when I do my videos, right, you see the very slick version. I mean, I do all the editing. I'm not perfect. I only started in quarantine, but you see the slick edited version. And this is just me just talking. This is if we're hanging out, you're at my dining room table. Let's just talk about some Magic cards, Elvish Visionary, the counterpart, of course, to the Doomsayer we saw earlier. Let's get past a lot of these. Little Token Maker. You hear things fall, it's just cards sliding and falling because I'm a monster. Thirst for Knowledge. This was in, I think at one point, the blue-white theme was artifacts, and it ended up being flying, but this was in the handoff that I gave to Jules. think it's a great reprint here, and it really fits with all the mana rocks you have lying around. You'll often just have an extra mana rock you want to get rid of. Another cool pickup you can do for your artifact deck if you end up drafting the artifact strategy. So there's some knowledge. There you go. Grafted War Gear. I've always loved this card since it came out in 5th Dawn. This was in my handoff originally. Really, of course, cool in any deck, frankly, but especially in the equipment deck, and also stealthily the sacrifice deck, because if you actually have to sack a creature in a pinch, it's a great way to make sure you can sack your creature. So doing a lot of good work overall. Grafted War Gear. It's also just a powerful card, right? It equips for free and gives +3/+2. So really happy we got to reprint this card. A lot of memories with this card too, playing with it in Mirrodin Limited. Cool stuff. Confiscate. Speaking of good memories, 6 mana, steal anything permanently is very strong. It's a card that you'll definitely take and play a lot in Limited. And he's playing normal Commander too, right? It really adds that stealing thing that you don't find as often in Limited. We don't do a lot of uncommon mind controls these days, but you do find it in a Commander environment. Sakashima's Protege. So happy we got to make a new Sakashima and some cards that reference them. And of course, fun Kamigawa stuff here. We did a whole design meeting built around a whole design iteration cycle built around cards that cared about what you cascaded into. And not many of them survived. Because they're just hard to design, and they're very, very particular in how they work exactly. But this is one that did, where you want to cascade it into something and then copy it, or at least it gives you the option to do that. I think originally it could only copy things that entered this turn, and I guess it still ended up that way. Sometimes you just got to read the card; it explains the card. There's also a version I know that I think Jules had for a little while where it could copy anything, not just what came into play. But it looks like it got switched back in the end. This is the joy of opening up a set that you worked on after it's been through so many changes. Sometimes you learn new things about your cards as you're reading them. There's another Rebecca, Emochi, Celebrant of Bounty. Great for the 6 mana plus CMC deck. And then Dund Operative. Okay, we're getting down here. I think there's, holy smokes, there's still 7 packs left. All right. Let's keep on going. If you've been watching this entire time, leave a comment below. I'm going to be so impressed if you've been watching this video for over an hour. That will be like, that's honestly hard for me to believe, but I'm sure there are some people out there who will do it. Right, just leave it on in the background while you're doing other stuff. You're doing work at home. You just want to see packs being opened, because packs being opened is awesome. Maybe you watch it at, like 2x speed. I watch a lot of things at 2x speed. Can't watch myself at 2x speed, though. It freaks me out too much. All right. Commons that you've seen. Skipping past these guys. Perilous Mirror. Great rattlesnake card that makes your opponent not want to attack you. That's in the artifact theme I mentioned. Haven't seen a Slith in a while. I don't even know what's going on with these guys on Mirrodin. I think they like the sun or something like that. Really weird 5-card cycle in original Mirrodin. But this one fits well here because it's evasive and white. Good with both the +1/+1 counter strategy and also the equipment strategy. Terramorphic Expanse. Sorry, Shivam and everyone else who wanted to have the new art. This one doesn't have the new art, in part because this was finalized, of course, a while ago, or the set was made a while ago. But there you go. Still has like that classic mana fixing for Commander. Prying Eyes, Soul's Fire. 1/2 punch with Soul's Might, Soul's Fire. Gets a lot of damage through, by the way. Thorn of the Black Rose, reprinted Monarch card. Once again, we didn't need to make a new Monarch card for black because this one already worked out great. It makes your opponents not want to attack you and gives you the Monarchy, so it's kind of a nice little fit. Monstrous Onslaught. This is a powerhouse that was really great in its original limited environment, and here allows you to, of course, hit things from multiple players, which is a cool twist. Instead of just like basically plague winding your opponent for 5 mana in Kaladesh Limited, this one you can divide up in a little bit more cleverly. Vow of Flight. Vow is back. Shimmer Mirror Downshifted to Uncommon. There's a neat artifact thing. I think I actually might have hinted at this in a video I did where this came up as one of my 3 random cards. Sorry for knocking you there. And I might have said, this could maybe even be uncommon. Well, spoilers, I knew it was going to be uncommon in this set. Oh, Promise of Tomorrow. This card has a really fun story. We have this thing called the Design Archive. And the way it works is if someone makes a card that they really like and it gets cut from the set, they can put it into the Design Archive. And the Design Archive is huge now, but back in the day, it was just getting started up. And Yanni Skolnick had put a bunch of designs into the Design Archive. And I pilfered this one from it. I needed a white rare that wasn't a creature. And I was like, well, let's see what's in there. And I looked through, and this card I thought was really, really cool. And so I put it into the set. And then a while later, Yanni was like, hey, this card looks very similar to a set card that I designed a while back. Wow. And I was like, well, actually, Yanni, this is the card that you designed. So really cool. This is a great new white card. I think this will go into a ton of white decks. And of course, that Seb McKinnon artwork is just killer. So great work, Seb, as always. Jury, Master of the Review for the Red Black Sacrifice deck. We've got Malcolm again, and Lissalana Bowmaster in foil. There you go. All right. Pack number 2. All right. I don't know why I said pack number 2. This is definitely not the second pack that I've opened. You can tell that I've been doing this for over an hour now. All right, let's see what we got here. Commons, we're just going to skip past. Aven Surveyor, Rummaging Goblin. Love this card. This is also a card we designed and I think stuck all the way through in early design. The Naturalize plus Disenchant, or Naturalize plus Cascade is something we thought would be very cool. I'm going to keep going. You've seen all these. This pile of cards next to me is getting bigger and bigger. Return to Dust, great reprint. Also comes in extended art here in the collector boosters. This is a card that sees a ton of play in Commander and just really makes it feel like you're playing a Commander game. And you'll main deck this even though it only kills off artifacts and enchantments and doesn't do anything else like Reclamation Sage, because hitting 2 is just so powerful. Mean people will mana screw their friends by killing off their mana rocks. I think you shouldn't do that in general. It's not super fun, but you know, if that's your thing, go for it if you really want to blow up their stuff. Mindless Automaton with fun new Kaladesh artwork. Really neat reprint. I've always loved this card. I remember drafting it in Time Spiral when it got reprinted on the Time-Shifted sheet. I played a lot with this. I'm just going to push these cards over to the side. I remember playing with this card a lot there and loving it, and really happy to have it here at Uncommon, so you can actually draft this thing quite a bit. Burning Anger. This is a downshift too. Really great in the Power Matters deck, the red-green Power Matters deck. Once again, cast Soul Smite on a creature, Burning Anger it, and suddenly you have a Tim that deals 10 points of damage every time it taps, which is pretty sweet. Laboratory Drudge. Nice Innistrad-themed card here. It's really great in your blue-black graveyard strategy. I think this will slot into a ton of different Commander decks that do graveyard shenanigans, which is cool. Nadir. Really great with your tokens deck and your elves deck. Once again, this is an interesting legend that it's kind of bridging 2 archetypes here, right? It cares about tokens and it cares about elves. So this can go in your black-white tokens deck or your elves deck. And we wanted to make some partners like these to just help give you options when you're drafting. And so if you draft this, you don't feel like you're locked into playing elves. You could draft this card and then go black-green or black-white potentially, which is why it looks at both. And elves has tokens, so it works out. Arden, great for your red-white deck. And a foil Seer Lantern. Oh, Salamander. Hey, there's a nice Salamander Warrior token. Check that guy out. All right. I think this is pack number 5 remaining. So T-5 for being done with this box. And then I'm going to open up a couple collector boosters too. So that's great. Those things have a ton of foil etched cards in them. So we'll be seeing some more there. Wow, my poor fingers. All right. Let's see what we get here. Foundry Inspector, skip past you. Goblin Trailblazer, skip, skipping past all these cards. Keep skipping into the future. Don't need you. Now I'm at the point where I'm just throwing them. Get out of here, card. Null Caller for the blue-black graveyard strategy. Also just, gives you something to do with all your extra mana as stuff dies later on in the game, right? Stuff will be dead and you'll have a bunch of mana lying around. Mana sinks are always really important. Something you can just do with your mana when a game goes along, and especially so in Commander. You'll always have your commander, but other than that, you'll probably have a lot of mana too. So, this is a nice one. Scale Behemoth, just a big creature that you can play in your red-green or blue-green deck and just deal some damage. Awesome to cascade it into this one. Just enough big creatures to help make the game end. Whoa! I'll take the double mana drain box. Yeah, that is... I don't need to say anything more about mana drain because I said it already, but let's just say I'm very happy with this Commander Legends box. This is the only box I have in my house. Seriously, this is not staged, and you've seen me open the whole box. So, and I certainly, even if I did have multiple boxes, would not spend an hour opening up multiple boxes. Wow, makes me very happy. Put that over here to the side. Brynolin. Yeah, very early on, Ethan Fleischer wanted to do a Brynolin in the set. This is not the design that he pitched, but it's cool that the character made it all the way through. It's kind of a little known story character here. Another Kobold, and then foil Armorcraft Judge. Oh, hey, check out this Thrall token. This is what Tevish Zat makes. it even feels like an old style Thrill with that very it's almost hard to know what it is just looking at the artwork. All right. All right. I wonder what. I wonder if I should have like a code word. So if you've been watching like this long in the video, there's like a code word you can put in the comments, and I'll know that you watched this long, even though no one else will. What's like a good code word we could use here? It's probably just like me and like 10 other people at this point, right? Maybe if you're one of the 10 people, I don't know. Get the word pineapple into a comment if you watched this far in the video. I'd be impressed. Okay, you got this stack of packs over here, stack of pack wrappers. A bunch of commons you've already seen. Skipping past these guys. One fun story I told is in the Vow video too, but I'll say it really fast. The old Black Vow had Intimidate, and we had to make a new one because the set doesn't have Intimidate. Now, a popular question on that video was, hey, don't you do Intimidate in Commander decks sometimes? What's up with that? An important distinction is that we do, in the Commander decks, we have whatever mechanics we want, right? Like, we can use Flashback and Evoke and Bushido and whatever we want in a Commander deck. In this set, though, we were limiting ourselves to just the mechanics that the set had. So the evergreen mechanics, and then Partner, Cascade, Monarch, and Encore. So Intimidate is not an evergreen mechanic anymore. It's not one of those 4 mechanics, so it couldn't show up here. And if we were designing a new card anyway, we would not put Intimidate on it. So it made a lot of sense to cut out and make a new one with the great art by art director Taylor Ingvarsson. So cool to have his piece here. Sifter Worm, nice to ramp into in your blue, green, or red, green decks. Horizon Scholar. Hey, here's another one of those nice Battle Bond dual lands. I love that these were still set on Kylan, by the way, so that your whole set will look picturesque and perfect together. Really, really cool. No, maybe not. No, never mind. That's just a dude. Well, so much for me trying to make Planeswalkers. I was like, oh, maybe there's like various Planeswalkers hanging out on here. Nope, it's not. I'm always looking for Planeswalkers on art. All right, Siani, Eye of the Storm. Hey, Tevis Zat. Yes, showing up the legendary slot. So pretty saucy pack with Training Center and Tevis Zat. That's kind of cool. Yeah, this is a sweet one. Tevis Zat. I made this card and pretty much stuck close to as is all the way through final design. I made the ultimate, so if you hate it, you can blame me for it. I think it's pretty cool personally. It's pretty hard to ultimate this guy. So the thing that the jewels added was the draw another card if it was a commander that you sacrificed. People kept asking for it, like, oh, he betrays people in the story. It would be fun if he drew extra cards when you sacrificed the commander. So we did it. We put it on there. Now the card's a little longer to read as a result, but pretty cool. This was a very popular story request. I think I remember going on the Vorthos cast at one point and talking about people. They asked like, "Hey, are you ever going to do this?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe." And in my head, of course, this was already in Commander Legends. So really cool to finally do it here. And not all partners are happy, nice partners to be with. Some of them are mean, and Teverzat is one of them. My favorite partner pair in the set is the Kobold plus this guy, because it's hilarious to me, right? You play the 0-mana Kobold, sack it to draw cards, and the idea of them being like quote-unquote partners in the multiverse is hysterical. It's like Teverzat and then the Kobold that keeps around to eat as a snack. Good stuff. And then a foil Ambush Viper. And here's an Elf Warrior token. All right, 3 packs left. We're getting into the home stretch. All right, here we go. Kite Sail, Corsair. Skipping past these. All these cards we know. Talked about them already. Scholar of the Ages, great for the blue-black deck. And once again, it's just like one of some really powerful feeling commander effects. Like you play this, you get some stuff back. It feels really strong, even though it's kind of like a limited power level card. And this is the one that I think fits well into that, where it just feels super cool to use. And especially if you have ways to like return this to your hand, it feels phenomenal. Like this plus Victimize, for example, is very powerful. But it's certainly, I mean, it's not too strong or anything like that, and just gives that kind of commander feel while retaining that limited play style. Dreamstone Hedron. Seb McKinnon, of course, knocked this one out of the park. So the art on this card is incredible. This card we designed pretty soon after we put Monarch in the set. Someone came up with the idea of Sweeper plus Monarch, and this was the card that came out of it. Sweeper plus Monarch is a natural combination because it makes sure that you keep the Monarch, and this one stuck, I think, pretty much all the way through without any changes. I think maybe I had it at 5 mana, and they made it 6 just to be careful. Bio Waste Blob, yes. A card that pumps your oozes and copies itself. There's a mechanic in the set when I handed it off called Advocate. Advocate was this mechanic where whenever your commander entered the battlefield or attacked, your Advocate trigger happened. And this card existed in the set and had an Advocate trigger. So whenever your commander entered the battlefield or attacked, you made a copy of Bio Waste Blob. Advocate left the set. It was just too strong with partner because it really rewarded you playing with partners, and partners are already strong and already tend to be cheap to cast because what we wanted to be doing was rewarding more expensive commanders. So we lost the Advocate mechanic, but this card and its framework stuck around, and yeah, here it is here. Amaranth again, Gilrana, great for your blue-green big spells deck. I think this card is awesome. And Scab Goliath. Our zombie token. All right, 2 packs left. T-2. All right, let's crack these open right here. And then after this, we're not done after these 2 packs. We still got collector boosters to take a look at, so I'm pretty stoked for that. All right. Seeing these, there's your Salamander again, but seeing these, probably have seen, Makeshift Munitions, I was about to say, we've seen everything at this point, but I don't know that I've opened one of these. Another Downshift, great for the red-black sacrifice deck. Oh, sorry, I was a little off camera maybe. Orzhov Advocist. Yeah, this is a great reprint. I love cards like these that play a little bit of politics, and this will pump up other players' creatures and incentivize them to attack other players. I love this. I love Agitator Ant. These kinds of cards I think are really, really cool. At one point, I think we tried doing a whole cycle of these, one in all 5 colors in this set. Didn't make it through, but I'm glad that Orzhov Advocist stuck here. Lore Seeker Stone, great artifact, gives you plenty of card draw late. This is a card I would pick pretty highly, I think. Commander Legends games, I mean, they can end early, but sometimes they'll just kind of keep going for a while, and this is a card that will help you break that stalemate. Whew, nice. Rings of Brightheart. This is a reprint I know a lot of players want. Really exciting to have that here. Worth noting, I do want to note on this card, it doesn't just copy abilities on the battlefield, but any activated ability. So with Encore, as a pretty nice example here, it's really strong. You Encore out of your graveyard, you pay 2 more, and you get a bunch of extra copies. So keep your eye out for that one with Rings of Brightheart. Oh, so happy to have Belby here. This is a character I wanted to make for ages. I'm always looking for new Weatherlight era characters to make. And this has been a fan favorite character since the beginning, since she showed out basically. And then she just didn't get a card in Nemesis, where she definitely should have. If we were making Nemesis today, she would. So here's Belby after all these years, and it's a pretty fun commander that can generate a lot of mana pretty quickly. So this one might be really strong. I look forward to seeing what people do with it. 2 mana commanders especially, really easy to make happen. Tuya Bearclaw. My favorite dumb joke with this card is I tweeted this yesterday. When you attack and your opponent doesn't block with this card, what do you say? Tuya. Yep, that's the joke. You can all grow now. And then a foil Brazen Freebooter and Prismatic Piper. Yeah, see, we got enough Pipers in this box. You know, you almost never need to use the Piper. I covered this in a video, but make sure that when you open the box, there's enough of them lying around that you can find one if you need one. It's a basic legend. It's always available to you. So, all right, last pack. Here we go. See what we open here, and then we'll go into the collector booster segment. Okay, we've got all these commons, which you've probably already seen. Speaking of commons, Guildless Commons, which I know is an uncommon, unfortunate name there. I mean, it's fine, doesn't bother me that much, right? Some people on Twitter were like, "Why is this called commons?" Anyway, enough about that. Great card for your red-white deck. So happy to have Kumbiage Witches here. I do not know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Kumbiage. Anyway, this is a card that I've wanted to get reprinted for a while because of that Seb McKinnon artwork, and it's played in Pauper. And I'm so glad we got to do it here. And the extended art version, if you haven't seen it, is just gorgeous. Totally worth picking up. Looking for. And hey, check this out. Armored Sky Hunter. This card is so powerful, right? It's a white card that tutors your top 6 cards and casts it and attaches it for free. It's pretty easy for this card to generate a ton of mana, and any kind of white deck with a bunch of equipment is or auras I expect to play this card. It's super strong. Great card. Here's another one of the familiars. Here's Prava again. And for the last foil, we've got... What? No way. Absolutely no way. I opened up Mana Drain and foil Mana Drain and Rings of Bright Hearth and foil Rings of Bright Hearth. That, I don't even know what the odds of that are. That's ridiculous. But holy smokes, that's amazing. And like I said, you've seen this box the whole time. You know, I didn't do anything weird here. That is awesome. That is so cool. I'm very happy with this box. Okay, well, that was rad. I'm riding a high right now. I feel like I need to go update my commander decks. Lots of good stuff here. Some great reprints. Lots of cool new cards. Now it's time for these guys. So I'm going to open up a couple Commander Legends Collector boosters. Here they are. These are, I think these are the way that they're packaged at big stores like Walmart, right? Because you need that protection on the shelf just to make sure that that no one swipes them. But I would love to. So here's what they look like. Here's what the box looks like. Looks like this. Super shiny, by the way. Really grabs your attention. And as it says here, introducing foil etched cards. And these are the best place to get foil etched cards. They show up in the draft boosters occasionally, but there's a couple in every single collector booster. So, all right. This is the place for it. Okay, so here we go. Take this out of here. Once again, these are the ones that you'll find in... These are the only ones I could get. These things are hard to come by. So let's open this up and see what we get. I'm going to have to go through these spots one by one. Okay, so we'll start off here with a bunch of foils. So most of this pack is foil, by the way, which is super cool. So you get foil Cascade. You know, with a bunch of foil commons and uncommons to start off with. So these are cards you've seen before, but in foil. And it's a great way to foil out your commander deck if you want any of these cards in foil. Okay, now we're getting into a foil legend. Here's Brynolin, nice and in foil. A couple foil legends showing up here. Emodi, nice and in foil. Really pretty. Love the foiling on this card. You get here's a nice foil rare, Blade Groove Prototype. Great artifact that I expect to see some great political play. Extended art card. Now, in every one of these, you'll get pretty much an extended art common or uncommon. This does not replace your extended art rare or mythic. This is additive. And these are hand-picked extended art cards from cards that are in both the set and the associated commander decks. And cards that see a decent amount of play in commander. I thought would be fun to have an extended art. And here's the Humble Defector, which I think looks super nice and pretty fun. Play this with Blim for a good time. Root Weaver Druid. Here's our extended art rare or mythic. Root Weaver Druid. This is a pretty wacky card, but it can accelerate you really quick if your opponents opt into it, which is nice. Also an elf. We've got our foil etched. Hey, look at that. Now, it's not always the same one that you get elsewhere in the pack, but here's your foil etched uncommon Brynolin, the Moonkraken. And once again, I'll just let that foil treatment go across here. And you've seen it in gold a bunch before in my Prosh video and with the Hans earlier. But here is what it looks like in monocolor. And it's so cool. It really has this, it almost feels like the old card frame in the color treatment on a little bit, which I guess you'll see again in Time Spiral Remastered. But yeah, this is super gorgeous. And then we'll move on to our guaranteed reprint, one of the 32 foil etched reprints. And here's Derevi, which is, of course, a commander powerhouse. This card's seen plenty of commander play. I know some of you who love stacks will love this card. And here's, again, that gold frame. You can I'll compare them side by side, too, so you can see kind of what they look like. Oh, so awesome. I love this new foil edge treatment. I'd love to do more with it. And some of you will ask about, here's straight out of the pack. You've seen me open it up. Here's what they look like from the side for any curving. I'm holding it very lightly in my hands, and there's none. They're totally straight right out of the pack, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, you get your foil etched rare mythic from the set. And here's Obika Brute Chronologist. I am talking about things I'm going to go build a deck around. I'm going to go build a deck around this. I've wanted to build this deck for a long time, and with this now in my hands, it's the perfect time to do it. So these packs are full of awesomeness. If you want foil etched stuff, this is the place to get your foil etched stuff. Yeah. Oh man, that is super cool. And then, of course, you get your foil token at the back. Well, that was pretty fun, but there's this mechanic in this set called Encore. So how about we do one more? How about an encore of our collector booster opening? So we're gonna open up one more right here for you, just to kind of show you what's up. I always like doing multiples of things just so you can see like some variety, you know, especially with collector boosters where the contents can vary. For the full look at what's in a collector booster, please check out my article collecting Commander Legends. It's on dailymtg.com and has all information about what you can find in these and kind of how often. Okay, let's crack up another one of these, shall we? See what we get. So we're gonna start off again with, of course, a bunch of foil commons. So go past these guys. Ooh, foil Imperial is perfect. That's nice to have. All right, then we'll get into our foil legend, Tuya Bearclaw. Once again, my silly Tuya joke goes here. Take Tuya. And then another foil uncommon legend. And here's our foil rare, Austere Command. Very, very, very nice. This is, of course, a commander staple. Reprinted here, and yeah, I don't know, nothing other than I put this in my, I have a foil one of these in my commander deck currently. It plays great, and I'd recommend you put 1 and 2. They're really strong. Oh, here is one for all the elf lovers out there. Full art, or extended art, I should say. Finhorn elves. Love it. That is super cool. It looks great. Definitely cannot wait to have this in my Legacy Elves deck. That's really cool. Body of Knowledge, brand new card from the set. Appears in full art here. Extended art, I should say. And now we're going to get into that great foil etch section. We've got Falthus, Shadowcat Familiar. Here's a monocolored foil etch card again. You can see what that treatment looks like. And I have my light kind of right on it here. Since you go across the card, it's a cool hit of foil. Vial Smasher for our reprint, guaranteed reprint. It is so cool to see the original partners back. We put all of them back in here just because we knew it'd be fun to pair with the other partners. People wanted them reprinted anyway. And yeah, every now and then in a draft they show up, which is cool. But then, you know, you have a pretty good chance of finding them also here in the collector boosters. And then for the new one, hey, it's another red-black card. Blim Comedic Genius is here to give your opponent stuff. It's fine. Just take a gift. No problem. Wow. And here's what that guy looks like. Just keep rotating around a little bit. I'll bring him up close just so you have a closer look at the treatment too. It's fantastic. And then a foil token. So anyway, this has been an hour and a half of me opening stuff up. I've opened up a lot of really, really cool things. It started off with a foil Mana Drain, it ended with an etched foil Blim. I've hit the camera too many times. Anyway, it's been a blast. I've got so much cool stuff here. I'll just kind of swirl it all around the stream. I am done talking to you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you watched this all, I would be shocked, but I'd be very impressed. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know below. If you have any comments on how I did this opening video, I'm probably gonna do more like this in the future too. So also let me know because that'll impact future videos like this. Anyway, I will talk with you again tomorrow. I've got more fun stuff to talk about, but this is truly a treat to finally get to open all these up after so many years of waiting. And I hope you enjoyed this adventure. And I know for me, my foil Mana Drain and Rings of Bright Hearth are going to be things I will never forget from opening up this box. So very, very cool. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, you got this. And one of the 32 reprint legends coming to you in Commander Legends is this one, Karametra, God of Harvest. This popular green-white commander from the original Theros block shows up here. Play some creatures, accelerate your mana, what's not to love? And all of these foil-etched cards, Karametra included, can be put into your deck if you open them in draft or sealed, so keep an eye out. Now the one treatment